First, I'd like to offer a greeting to Joe and Frank and Anthony, their wives, their children, family, and friends who are gathered here for Mary's funeral mass. And I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of the pastor, as he's welcomed me to come into his church and to preach about someone that I knew a little bit about growing up and kind of lost contact with, but through family and extended family, I've grown to know more about, and I feel honored to be able to speak the homily on her behalf. There's so many readings that we could have chosen today for Mary's funeral mass that would celebrate this long life of a wonderful wife and mother and sister and aunt and grandmother and a friend to so many people. The homily leads us to, or the gospel leads me to think about Jesus' relationship with the Father. And the word childlike is what we heard just a little bit ago. Mary grew up in a time when her mom became sick and passed away, and she did not have a long childhood. She grew to take care of her family, her two brothers and her sister, while her father worked to support their family. But when Mary fell ill and I talked to Frank, he told me a story about his mother that really makes me understand her childlike, and I say this in a nice way, simplistic way of connecting with God, how she looked at God. And this is a little example of how Mary thought about things. Frank told me that one time on one of Mary's trips to Italy to visit extended family, he happened to come in the house and he saw his mother had laid out all the things she was taking with her. You know, she was taking some tins of some cookies and stuff she was packing away, and all the essentials and non-essentials. And he saw a radio, her transistor radio, sitting on the dining room table. And he said, "Mom, what's the radio doing? Did you accidentally put that there, or are you actually taking that with you?" And she said, "No, I'm taking it." And he said, "But Mom, why are you taking your radio to Italy?" She said, "All my favorite stations are on it." So Mary was very simple in her approach to the science of radio waves. And I think her approach to God was just as simple. God is God. No meat on Fridays in Lent. No meat anytime on Fridays. 7 fishes on Christmas Eve. Feed everyone, no matter how much food they've already eaten. Cleanliness is next to godliness, including her front step, her pavement, and the street in front of her house. Love everyone, even though sometimes you have to bite your hand. If you picked up her holy card, her prayer card, you would know that something seemed a little odd if you really didn't know the family all that well. Her name was Immaculata. We called her Mary. But those two things together, Immaculate Mary, are a beautiful prayer that every time someone said her name, they reverenced our Blessed Mother. There were joyful times in Mary's life. There were sorrowful times in Mary's life. Very similar to our Blessed Mother. The joyful, she married Tony and lived 49 years of wedded bliss. She had 3 boys, seeing them grow into successful gentlemen. Grandchildren that she boasted of almost regularly. She had some sorrowful times as well. The loss of her parents at a very young age and the sacrifice of taking over the maternal duties of the home. Her sister passing away not long after her parents. And then most recently, her loss of Tony, her true love. In Paul's reading today, Paul talks about the end of his own life. He says he's competed well. He's finished the race. He's kept the faith. And now the crown of righteousness awaits him. And I believe that too for Mary. I would think if we had to choose another reading, I would love this imagery to sit with you because I know it's going to hit home. In my Father's house there are many rooms, Jesus tells us. One has been prepared for Mary, although I'm not sure if I know how much time she'll actually spend there. She probably will be in God's kitchen, feeding everyone. And when she isn't doing that, cleaning everyone else's rooms that were prepared for them. Because she would do that with love. And as the choir of angels sing God's praises, I don't think she needs her radio anymore. God bless you.